Ji, Assalamu alaikum students of grade 11. How are you all? This is Pakistan International School Dive. I welcome you all on our YouTube channel. How are you students? And what about your prayers? I haven't asked you since long, I guess. Are you regular in your prayers? If not, so please try to be regular, right? And never miss your prayers. And you are here with me in English Hub. Yes, this beautiful background and theme is for my girls, for my daughters of grade 11. I hope you like that. Let's start our today's lecture. Okay, it's Virtual Learning System session 2020, and this is lecture number 8. Already we have completed our unit number 1 and unit number 6, two chapters of unit number 6. And this is the third unit we have started, but the numbers sequentially it's number 2, and the topic is It's Country for Me. It's an interesting topic. It's all about village life, so inshallah you'll enjoy that. It's me, Mrs. Imran. Yes, here this is the time when we say that dreams come true, and there are so many other fields you may join, and you can have wonders in life. Inshallah, it's for you. World is yours. Okay, now let's talk about major objectives. At the end of the lesson, uh, what objectives, inshallah, will be able to achieve. Number one is to develop the ability to read English with understanding. Of course, once we'll be reading text, so you'll be understanding each and everything as you'll be going with the flow, and you'll be with me once I'll be reading and explaining each and every single line for you, right? Along with the meanings and with elaboration, with proper detail. The second point is to be able to understand the content. Yes, inshallah, once we'll be closing today's lecture, so you'll be able to understand the content, which is very important to understand. For that purpose, I explain each single line for you. Why I'm doing it for you, only to make you understand that there should be no ambiguity, there should be no confusion at all afterwards. Okay, to be able to understand the content, you will be able to understand at the end of the lesson, and to follow the sequence of ideas, facts, etc. So sequentially ideas have been shared by the author, so we'll be knowing those all, and facts, whatever the facts he has described and told us, and explained as well, right? So to be able to grasp the meaning of words are very important, and different types of sentences contextually. Students, is actually half of the part is related to the grammar, but just let me tell you, as I haven't mentioned it separately that it's a part of grammar, but let me tell you, once we'll be reading sentences, so we'll be able to understand that contextually we'll be able to understand that which type of sentence is this, number one. And secondly, you need to get the meaning out of uh, out of that text. Like once you are reading a content, while reading that text you will be able to guess few of the words, or few of the ideas after reading that one paragraph. The reason is because you are going to cover that contextually. So the context, if the context is, I mean, it's clear in your mind, so you'll be able to understand the meaning of entire paragraph as well. But I'll be explaining each single line to you, right? So it's not a problem. Okay, the last point is to be able to know about the importance of farming and village life. Yes, that's the major part. Village life, yes, it's a country for me. The topic, as I've mentioned earlier, it's about village life. It's about purity and simplicity of village life, and about farming. That how much important is that? Like how how a boy of hardly I guess 13 years old, so how much he's interested in farming, and how he's taking care of those all activities over there, and house chores and stuff like that, and how skillful he is, though he's a student as well, but he's taking at the same time interest in farming as well. It's about an author. Patricia Demuth and her husband grew up in small towns where they had friends who were part of a family farm team. that was over there. Best children book of 1982 by the Society of Middleland Authors. It was awarded. This was a book they wrote, and it was awarded as well. Yes, students, here we go. Wow, it's a beautiful place. It's a lush green, uh, beautiful village, and seems like there's pin drop silence, calm and quiet. So there is no noise pollution, there is no air pollution. So it's about country life, it's about village life. Yes, I have selected few of the images for you to just let you know and to just give you an idea how the farms are over there in the villages, right? So the few images I have selected especially for you students. You may see how it goes. Yes, this is a cute lambi. Actually, this there is author has discussed about lambi, right? Orphaned lambi. So I selected rather kept searching for this picture because I was thinking like there must be a lambi pic as well. And just imagine that he's a boy Joel and having his lambi along. All right. This is about livestock. It's also described here in the chapter. So that's why I have taken one of the pick regarding this. Okay, this is all about the content. We have already discussed the first unit and unit 6, right? So this is second unit I'm talking about now. It's as the syllabus setter has beautifully designed it because after first attempt and challenges, it was the first topic which he selected. Now the second topic is about environment and nature. So in this, the first topic is it's country for me. It's about countryside. It's about village and about village life, how the people live and how they arrange their bread and butter and the source of their income and all that. So that's regarding farming, and these are the outcomes which have already been discussed. I think there is no need to discuss again and again. Okay, here are environment, of course, again environment, and then environmental issues and problems. What type of problems are we facing these days due to pollution or due to other reasons, right? So this will be discussed in detail. And then ethical, social skills, civic sense, writing skills, grammar, and languages. Of course, we'll be discussing, and we have already discussed this part a lot as well. Okay, the third part is tears of nature. I mean, apparently everything is clear. Is the tears of nature. I mean, like nature is crying, right? Why it's crying? Sorry. Okay. Man destroying nature. Man, he himself is destroying nature. He's not taking care of this world properly and appropriately. That's why we are not at our best once we are talking about nature, right? Okay. Here we go. Let's start this chapter. Okay. It was 11:15 at night when Joel. It's let me if you want me to read this again for you. It's country for me, unit number 2, chapter topic name is it's a country for me 2.1 and written by Patricia Demuth, and the topic the chapter start from here. It was 11:15 at night when Joel reading in bed when he was busy over there. He was in his bed, heard his mother call up, Joel, come and feed Lamby, as I told you about Lamby, right? Will you? So she's asking the boy to go and feed the Lamby because Lamby seems like a small lamb, right? Lamb is, of course, it's about uh, here come and feed Lamby, okay? Will you? Yes, will you do that? So she usually fed the orphaned lamb. Yes, she used to do so previously, or I mean it was in her practice, but tonight she had come home late due to her meeting. She had some other activities, so she was busy and she got stuck there. So she said that you may go and feed the lambi. Okay. And did not want to go to the barn wearing good clothes, and she wasn't interested to go there because there was a farm building over there, and there was that's muddy, rusty, I mean dusty, and the straw beddings are there, so she wasn't interested to go there, right? So that's why she's asked her son to go there. The small dog Jessica jumped up from the doorstep as Joel came outside. So it was a welcoming attitude, by the way. And he was trying to approach Joel. A pair of overalls pulled over his pajamas. Now, this is about the boy. The laces of his boots dangling. It was just hanging on. And he's saying, he was hanging, and hey, Jess. Now, the way he greeted, right? He greeted her. He also greeted back and said, hey, ruffling the dog's thick fur with one hand, and now he's, tapping and touching those frills of the thick fur and one hand as they loped together to the barn. Now they both went to the barn. They both started jogging and they started moving on to the barn. In his other hand, oh my God, it again slips away. Wait. In his other hand, he carried Lambie's meal, and in other hand, what he had that milk replacement in a soda pop bottle kept by a black nipple spare. The March air was cold. This is about a setting over there. That weather was cold and light caught the mist of Joel and Jessica's breath. So there was breath vapors. Those can be seen, right? So a dim crescent moon hung low over the east hayfield, and the grassy field moon can be even observed there, or can be seen easily. Otherwise, the night was black. Overall, it was dark. GBD 41 first. Yes, this is page number 41. It's about, yes, what happened then? Here, Lambie called Joel, opening the door to the barn when they reached there. Here the Lambie called Joel, opening the door to the barn. He opened that, where the sheep are kept in the winter, where they used to keep them. The lamb sprang up from her warm straw bedding. Wow, what environment they have tried to the author is trying to present, that it was warm straw bedding, right? It was specially arranged for that small lamb, right? Sprang up, he started jumping and sucked down the bottle in 30 seconds. Finished within no time. What was the reason? Because seems like he was hungry. Her mother had died giving birth to her a week before. It was that's why it's called, in the beginning he called him. Author has mentioned that orphaned Lambie, right? So it's that's why, because her mother had died giving birth to her before a week ago. Okay, this may have been Joel's 33,000 trips to the barn. Yes, symbolically they are mentioning it. She's trying to tell us that yes, he used to visit a lot. I mean, frequent visits. He used to pay frequent visits to the barn. Since he goes in and out of barn, in and out idiomatic phrase, so you may just underline it and use it later in your um, any of your compos, no problem. Okay, in and out of barn, and at least 10 times a day. So it was in his practice. Joel knows these farm buildings better than he knows his own bedroom, because it shows his attachment. Students, what impression are you getting from, like, from this paragraph, that it shows the attachment of that boy with that barn, with that farm building, that he had that attachment. That's why he used to pay a frequent visit to this specific area. He surely spends more walking hours in them, yes, and he knows how to care for the animals they shelter, as well as he knows how to care of himself. So he knew how to handle this whole situation, and how to handle the cattle, the animals, and how to take care of himself. Farming is Joel's word. It was Joel's word. Yes, sorry. Farming is Joel's word. Yes, it was his own word, as he's used to. So that's why, and its area of interest is this. So of course, it can be taken as it was his own word. Joel Holland has lived on this 245-acre farm since he was born, I mean, he belongs to that area, right? Holland is his family name, right? 13 years ago, it is the farm of his ancestors, yes, of his great grandparents, maybe. He lives in the house that his great grandfather built. It was built by him, and the land he helps his father and brothers farms is land that his great grandfather James Holland bought in 1860. It was bought in this time period. James was an Irish immigrant. Yes, it's an info he shared. He drove a team of horses to plow the land and make it ready for students. Now just make up your mind that there is little comparison, right? Right. So in this paragraph, comparative description is mentioned. So I'm gonna read the next sentence for you, and then you can compare both of these sentences. Okay. Now, 5 generations later, after 5 generations, what happens now? Joel plows the same land atop. Atop is a word which usually it's used for, like in 17, 16, 17th century, it was using, they were using it for like, uh, like top of it, right? A tractor that has the power of 120 horses. Now see, it's a comparison. Like 5 generations ago, like before 5 generations, what was happening, how they were handling, they were using 12 horses to handle that, right? But now what are they, actually a team of horses. But now what are they doing? Of There is one tractor is handling that all. He due to the And who is doing this? Joel plows. Now Joel is doing this, he's plowing the same land atop a tractor that has the power of 120 horses. So keep this in mind. Okay, the rich black soil has been pampered by Hollands for over 124 years. Yes, it's been pampered, it's been taken care of a lot. And farming, it's Joe's heritage, it's a legacy. He's part of it. He feels himself that his roots are there, so he enjoys this farming a lot, and he as its own heritage. The Holland farm is near Scales Mound. Okay, find this place where it's the name of place, right? A tiny town of 400 people snuggled in the northwest corner of Illinois. That's a U.S. state, right? So where the people are living together, snuggled, they live together. 400 families are almost there. People are living there. The land there is hilly, rolling in great waves. In fact, just a few miles away is the highest point in the state. So that's surrounded by hills, right? This is the place which is surrounded by hills. Joel attends public school in Scales Mount. That's the place where he's studying in a split level brick building. That's a bricky building over there with 235 other grade school and high school pupils. Where the students are all together, they are 235 in number, and they all are studying there, and they are different, belong to different grades. I mean, the higher graders are also they are studying there, and they are all together. About half the students are farmers. Fine. This year, Joel will graduate from 8th grade and begin ninth. This is in as an info, but his class will not get larger because this is a village school, right? So I mean, like, they will not have a big class over there again in the next class, maybe in grade 9 he's talking. Yes, exactly, they are talking about grade 9, except for three foster children, those adopted children, those who came and left. They were those only. Joel has been with the same 19 kids since first grade. Like, he knows everyone over there because they have been studying together since long, from even since first grade. I know every kid in practically the whole school. And it shows his attachment even with the school fellows. Like, he knows each and everyone over there. He says some of those guys in school on TV don't even know the people in their own classes. Even the people over there, even they don't know about each other a lot. But I'm the one and only who knows everyone, right? Joel is a good student, though reluctant to discuss it. there are some students, those are shy, those feel like they are a little fearful or maybe a little timid or little they feel shy, right? But they are good students overall, so he's of the same type. Yeah, I guess I pull mostly A's and B's. This is how he was performing there, right? In national testing, Joel scored an overall 99%. That's a good percentage, of course. The brilliant one. It seems like he's a brilliant student, meaning that only 1% of students scored higher. Yes, his studies are typical of any eighth grader, right? Is in the United States. So it was normal. We are doing percent in mathematics, English, forget it. Even in history, we are up to FDR, like that's been mentioned here. In science, we do experiments like taking the chemicals HCl and blowing up pieces of chalk. So this is all about different subjects he's describing. And sorry, this is page number 42. We need to read. Yes. Okay. But when now this is the second. Then what happens? Like if he when he's talking about his uh, day-to-day activities, right? But when the school bus drops Joel off, again the phrasal verb, they were even in the last page we had some, so you may underline yourself. Bus drops Joel off, and he runs up to the quarter mile lane to his farmhouse. See his excitement now. He has he has to. They have mentioned author is he here explaining that first part was that, then when he used to go to school. But the second part is when he comes back home. So this is the second stage when he comes back home. Oops, it's again gone. But when the school bus drops Jewel off and he runs up the quarter mile lane to his farmhouse, slips out of his sneakers. He removes his sneakers and pulls on his boots, because boots are very important to wear over there, because he has to take care of other house chores now. Then his life is no longer typical of an average teenager. Now they are author is explaining here explaining a little different, right? That other teenagers life is totally different with this boy, because now he'll be performing differently. His footgear is the clue. Yes, of course, it was the reason. That's why he's wearing that. And Joel wears boots every day. He has to, no matter what the season is, it doesn't make any difference for him, because he has to work. Every now and then there is no there is no specific time that you may go to the farmhouse this time, and maybe on another day you're not going, because animals are there, so you have to be regular and punctual to attend them all. That's because he does chores every night after school. So it was his routine. It was not a matter of a day or two, but it was his regular routine. He was in practice after school and for several hours on weekends. Yes, even he used to spend a lot of time there, even on weekends. The chores are boot work. Yes, that's what foot gears he mentioned before, and hard, heavy, and sometimes dirty. For sure, of course, once you are in the farmhouse over there, you are going to see livestock and different animals, and like cattle are there, so of course you have to see each and everything over there. The daily chores the Joel does help are to run the farm and to support the family. Yes, there are two purposes, right? The one purpose is his own interest, and I must say that that was inbuilt, because he was a part of it. So that's why he's saying here that one reason was this, that he was very much attached, and the second reason was that he used to support his family, because he had to take care of them all as well. Joel is a teenager, but he does the work of an adult. He's playing a role as if he is an adult, right? Unlike most families where the parents alone make the money, farm families work together. With, like people are having different approaches, even if we talk about urban areas or some cities and modern places. So you may see the approach is different, right? The parents and the old family members, they do give this liberty to the students, to the children, that they have to just study. They even you yourself can imagine and put yourself in that situation. What do? You are you are just studying, right? But you are not helping your parents to go and to work with them the way they are doing. So it's about that, right? Work together. Each child's labor is not only important to the family's well-being, it's essential. Of course, it's a part of it, and it's actually it's the dire need of that time where they live, right? And they can't ignore it. The Hollands operate a self-sufficient farm. That's really an interesting part. I was really impressed when I was reading it. That self-sufficient farm. How now? She's explaining. Typical of many in the Corn Belt. Yes, the raise livestock. Livestock. Now, what the next point is that they are raising their own livestock also, cattle and a few sheep, right? In each herd, in each that of the group of that cattle, they keep some females to replenish the stock, and they just keep this a few of the cattle, female cattle with them, and then the rest of the just for breeding and for that purpose, and the rest of the animals are sold for slaughter. Yes, they for earning money, and land on America's table as beef and lamb. So that's in their practice. The Hollands grow virtually all this. Now just see now how practically they are doing it. All the oh my god, it again slips away. Virtually all the food their animals need. So they have to fulfill the needs of animals needs as well. For that they used to grow corn, oats, and hay. That's a grassy the wheat type stuff is there. They sell the surplus. Now the extra food they have, though most of their money comes from selling the animals themselves. So this is how they are managing this all and their income as well. To run a farm like this, now see, just keep this word, this phrase in mind: a self-sufficient farm, right? Just keep this in mind. Now let's come here. It's about to run a farm like this, farmers have to have many skills. Which type of skills they need to have? They have to be machine operators, driving immense and powerful vehicles. Like they have their own tools along, right? And they know how to operate those machines. So they have to be mechanics repairing them, husbandmen, the peasant or the farmers. They need to be those. Like they have to perform as if they are farmers, raising livestock, how to raise cattle, and veterinarians as well. Why? Because if they have some issues, health issues, so those can also be taken care of them. They can take care of themselves, but they don't need to call or to hire anyone from outside. Tending them when sick. Okay, yes, agriculturalists growing food on a large scale. Yes, and business people, like for that purpose, managing, like Joel's father. One of them must be handling their business affairs as well. One of them must be having this skill to manage that all, right? A farm's operation worth nearly $1 million. So this is about that. As Joel works on the farm, he is all these workers. Okay, students. Okay, so yet he is a boy still, and like an apprentice continues. Like he is just like a learner, right? He feels like he's a student, right? And he's ready to work, and formally and professionally he wants to learn it, continues to learn new skills. He's interested in that, right? Joel takes his learning seriously, and he's paying attention because his goal is to become a farmer. He wants to be a farmer. He is extremely alert and watchful. He's observing each and everything seriously, and with having an eagle eye on it, on everything, like a cat. So it's given an example here that it's been taken like a cat. So it's being used as a simile. So even when not actively involved in a chore, Joel can readily answer any question about what is going on. So though he's not directly involved in each and everything, but he is in position to answer any question. He listens as his dad counsels a seed customer in the kitchen, that how he's handling him and what he's talking with that guy, with that person. As his brother Terry consults a vet about recent deaths in hog herd. So this is all about the if they are discussing and he's talking about that domesticated pig, how what happened, like why he was died and all that. So if there is any query or any question in his mind, so he knows how to answer those questions even, so he's taking interest even in that. As his older brother discuss soil planning, even about soil planning, while they mend a fence when they are just they're gonna fix over there, and knowledge seems to be constantly seeping, sometimes flowing, means he's enriched with that knowledge which is required as a farmer. So he is taking interest and it's just like dripping and sometimes flowing into Joel's mind. So all the time he has self interrogation and he keeps asking questions to himself, and then afterwards he observes everyone, he notices everyone, what are they talking about, and he takes interest. And due to that interest, even in this age, he seems like as if he is a skillful farmer. All right, we'll be continuing in the next lecture, the left part. Okay, I hope you understood this chapter because I have told you in detail, thoroughly. You have read with me. So if you were with me, so of course you'll be enjoying it, and I think you must have uh, read it seriously. All right. Yes, students, the quote of the day, it's about William Shakespeare, the how Shakespeare has mentioned and has how he has explained and tried to convey a message that's about there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So it's all about your thinking. It's all about your. If I just take it to the religious part, so it will be like as how good niya you have, so you will be rewarded for the same, right? So if you will have good thinking, so results will be good. And if you are thinking something, if you are thinking positively, and for you as students, I must say, so you need to be positive and have good approach, positive approach, and inshallah uh, circumstances will be in your favor. Okay, stay safe, stay home, stay connected. God bless you all. Take care. Remember us all in prayers. Love is